her trailblazing journey that has made her one of 7 BCCI umpires today. I think women in cricket, it's now growing rapidly in the country, and even when we are encouraging it and seeing a lot more of it, stadiums are not yet 100% full, are they?
One India-Australia T20 that we played out in DY Patil, I think there were about 45,000 odd people. BCCI and Mr. Jaisha announced that what the women cricketers get paid for an international match will be on par with what the men international cricketers, which is fantastic.
That is amazing. As an 18-year-old vice captaining the university cricket team, what were your aspirations?
Certainly to play for the country. I never really wanted to go down the well laid out path, and when there was a chance to do something in umpiring finally, I think that's where I really found my space. You can get 9 out of 10 decisions right, but the one where you get it wrong tends to get remembered and replayed sometimes, but it's the nature of the job.
What will you tell the 18-year-old guy vice captaining the university team? I'm in the company of my friend, a person I've got to know even before I was an adult, somebody I've greatly admired and watched, sometimes in close quarters, sometimes a little far quarters, but her trailblazing journey that has made her one of 7 BCCI umpires today. It makes us incredibly proud. We as a cohort just love, adore Gayathri Venugopalan, and so happy to have you here. Honored and privileged, Gayathri. Thank you so much for taking the time out.
Thanks, Wills, for such a heavy-duty intro. Thank you.
There was nothing that wasn't the truth there, Guy. Like I said, some parts of it I think we've witnessed closely. Some parts of it we haven't witnessed, but I think it's been such a journey. And again, I would say so very proud. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
So quickly, we'll get into a rapid fire. Okay. On cricket.
Okay.
T20 or test match, Guy?
Very clearly test match.
Okay. One match you wish you had officiated as an umpire. Any era, any time.
Era, then I'd go back to the 70s. Both the Windies and the Indian spin quarter that we had back then. Yes.
Quite a golden.
Any of the match I'd just pick.
And what is one value that cricket has left with you?
I would say be a team person.
Who's your favorite umpire, Guy?
Quite a few that I've admired over the years. I'd pick David Shepard and Marai Erasmus.
Okay. Finally, one decision you'll never forget that you gave.
I'll go to my test debut. The match was very interestingly poised then. I gave Laura Wolfhard LBW out in the second innings. And it was a tricky part of the game, and the stumps were completely blocked for me. I'd pick that one probably.
Congratulations, Guy. Yet another proud moment.
One of those I got right, yes.
Fabulous. So, Guy, if I remember, from your university days, from college days, you used to play a lot of cricket.
Yes.
But was umpiring something on your mind at that point?
Not at all. I was completely focused on playing, having fun, and yes, dreaming to go higher in playing as well. At that time, umpiring was not a natural progression at all way back then. Much later in life, I tried to come back to cricket. Unfortunately, got injured, had a shoulder injury, realized professional competitive cricket was beyond me. Even then, there was a short phase when I was kind of grappling with what to do in life. One of the evenings in a casual chat, one friend just happened to throw that idea at me. And then that's when I started researching, and then it came about. So not a natural progression at all.
So what were your aspirations and dreams at that point? As an 18-year-old vice captaining the university cricket team, what were your aspirations?
Certainly to play for the country. And I remember one fine day, my father pulled me aside and said, it was really nice of him because he said, if you really want to take up into playing and go into it completely, I'll fully back you.
Wow.
For the middle class background that we came from, and it was not necessarily a career with some income to look forward to at that point in time. For him to say that was quite something, and also spoke of his love of sport.
commendable, because that was my next question, because we grew up in in Chennai, and it was very clear the paths that we had to take and how we had to grow it. So my next question actually was, how did this interest develop and where did it come from? So kudos to your dad.
Certainly genetically handed over.
So what are your memories of playing cricket from that time? How was women cricket? How was it playing for the university?
It was very nice. We didn't have turf cricket to practice with. We had matting wickets. Obviously, the players, we ourselves had to go pull out and with heavy mats, carry, roll out the mats, nail them down, get hit because the bounce was very different from turf. And you get hit, and there were capsicum plasters way back then. Playing with the plaster and stuff like that. But it was still fun. Of course, we didn't have the necessary infrastructure as it is today, but it was a lot of fun.
For us, you were a bunch of girls in that extension of Ethiraj College campus. I think
Yes,
that's what I remember.
Yes, it allowed me to do two things: play cricket and stay away from class.
So guys, so then when you decided to pick up umpiring, how did that journey evolve, and how did that play out?
Like I said, I was trying to figure out what to do next in life, and when this idea came about, I went onto the net and started doing a lot of research. At that point in time, I'm talking 2013 or so, there was not a lot of material available on the net anywhere in terms of what is the journey, what is the starting point. So a lot of research had to happen, and of course, I finally found out that you have to go and get yourself registered with one of the member associations of the BCCI. In my case, I've been based in Delhi NCR for long time now. So I went to the Delhi and District Cricket Association DDCA and got myself registered. One of the senior umpires was there when I went there to find out information, and he told me, listen, a lot of guys get enamored by what they see on TV. It looks very glamorous and all of that, but it's a lot of hard work. One, you're standing out there in the sun and then standing on your feet for 7-8 years. And in my journey, that's what he said. In my journey, I've seen a lot of guys who are very good in the theory side of it to be able to clear exams and go through, but didn't translate it as well on the ground. And there were some who could manage the match very well on the ground, but didn't have the ability to study well and then reproduce and, in theory to clear the exams. So for you to go higher up, you need to be able to do both these and be able to stand those physical rigor. So let's be very clear. So don't be just carried away by all the glamour that you see on TV. Yeah. So I thought that was very, very sane advice for somebody starting out. Though I wouldn't say it was the glamour in my case, it was love for the game, but it was very, very nice piece of advice to give out to somebody starting out.
And I've seen you in those years that I overlapped with you in Gurgaon. I think summers, winters, everything, you would be up at 4:30?
Yes.
And head out to the ground and come back late at night. And how long did that rigor go on, Guy?
That kind of depends, because there is a certain process that you need to go through to become an umpire. You first become a state panel umpire and then the BCCI exams and stuff like that. And again, the BCCI conducts when there is a requirement for umpire. So it's not that an annual or a biannual thing happens. So in my case, I had to wait out a few years. It's a blessing in disguise, because it gave me a lot of experience and encounter a lot of situations, understand what to do, how to handle those situations. So I look back and say blessing in disguise.
So theory and practical. And the theory requires a lot of study.
Absolutely.
Intense.
Absolutely, yes. Those are the foundations. And then you have different formats, T20 and one day and test match, or a multi-day as we call it. Test matches at the international level. So each one has its own set of rules and playing conditions. And then when it comes from men to women, there are some minor tweaks as well.
So you need to
the size of the ball is different. The size of the boundary can be different. The inner circle will be different. All of those. So you need to be the number of players who are allowed inside the circle and outside the circle. So those are minor things, but you need to be absolutely aware. You could be switching today from a men's game and tomorrow to a women's game. So just need to be mindful and be aware.
Okay. And if today there is, a young girl aspiring to go this journey, what should she study? Like, what will help her? Of course, there has to be the passion for the game, and she must be playing the game and all of that. But What do you think helped you in the theory?
I think I was lucky in I had a few people, and as I started meeting out, I started taking in some advice, and they told me read the laws of cricket over and over and over again. There's never an end to it because there is so much to absorb. Every time you read the same thing, you know a different part of the laws gets highlighted, and you think, oh, is this so? So that's the again. I keep making fun of myself. Way back when I, finished my studies and shut my books, and I said, "Ho gaya mera." I think somebody upstairs said, "No, sorry, I have different plans for you," and made me come back to books.
So
with
there
cricket.
are laws on cricket books.
Yes, the laws of cricket are the basic fundamentals on which your different formats develop.
Wow,
Yes.
impressive. So, Guy, what kind of personality shift was required from being a player to being an umpire?
Drastically different, because as a player you're actively involved and you're playing to win, and then of course you either on the winning side or the losing side, and then whatever you do impacts the game, everything. There is emotions involved, everything. As an umpire it's completely different. You try and cut out the emotions, and then you're a passive participant there. You're a facilitator. At the end of the day, you're an umpire. Team A wins, Team B wins, Team B wins. You're an umpire there. So you're a neutral participant, a passive participant. So quite a shift.
And that must have taken a lot out of you. So, how did the pre-preparation for that shift happen?
I wouldn't say too much of preparation happened. I think my first year in umpiring taught me that, because first year I saw myself getting too involved in the way the game was played, the teams were playing, the kind of bowling changes they were making, the kind of shots, field. So I told myself, listen, you're a neutral participant here. Don't get too actively involved. So a year and a half into it, I think I was a little more settled.
So, did you have sounding boards? You had mentors? Who kind of helped you in this?
A lot of people. I don't think I would pick any one person to say this is the person who shaped me. And I was also very clear in my head, I didn't want to become a carbon copy of anybody else. Because the moment you start following only one person without your own awareness, you tend to become that. I was lucky I had access to a lot of senior umpires, some of whom were in the ICC panel. So anything I had a doubt in, I used to watch them. I used to go back and do a self-assessment and keep clearing doubts. And typical to even any other law, even in cricket laws, there could be minute difference in interpretations between umpires. So whichever one made more sense or more people tend to agree to, I tended to go with that. Yes. Quite a few people have helped me and shaped my journey, I would say. Yes.
And at the personal level?
Personal level, certainly family. Because I think this kind of a journey, once you go into the BCCI or ICC level, it takes you away from home for long periods of time.
Yeah.
Anything which keeps you away from long periods of time, if you don't have your family support, becomes very, very difficult. So huge thanks to my family in supporting me that way. I'd also pick one more person who supported me. I was working with an NGO during this period when I was, doing before my BCCI days. The person who headed that organization, Raghu, was extremely understanding. Gave me a long rope. As long as work got done, he would never interfere with when I worked, how long I worked. For him, the work needed to get done, and because it was the health and life of patients which was involved, and was a huge cricket buff as well. So he was extremely understanding. If I did not have such an understanding boss, even if it were an NGO, I don't think I would have had to give up one or the other.
So you were doing two things. You're actively preparing to become an umpire and doing a full-time job at that point of time.
No, it was a part-time work with the NGO, but it was a critical role in that the lives of patients were involved, cancer patients and thalassemia patients and all of that.
Fabulous, Guy. Fabulous. Guy, today, what do people generally get wrong about umpiring?
Wrong, I don't know, but I would say some of our professions are thankless, I would say. So I would say, I would not necessarily say wrong. Some of us, it's thankless. You can get 9 out of 10 decisions right, but the one where you get it wrong, tends to
highlighted.
get remembered and replayed sometimes, but it's the nature of the job. You have to take it in your stride and move on
And how do you do that?
with experience, and you talk to people who have done it in the past and you learn from them. Yeah, initial days it can be difficult, especially matches that are live telecast, because you have a fraction of a second to give a decision, and then there are lakhs of people watching. So it doesn't feel too good when you get it wrong. But then you talk to people. One of the best pieces of advice that I received is from somebody who said, "Look at a Rafael Nadal or look at a Roger Federer. How many times have you seen them win 6-0, 6-0, 6-0, and winning the game without conceding
Without
a point?"
any point, any loss
So
of
they
point.
have conceded points. They played some bad shots, but they've picked themselves up and still gone on to win.
Yeah.
So wrong decisions should not affect you so much. It's part and parcel. There are going to be errors. We are humans. There is never, and it's
Obviously,
your error
it's
is never going to be the
impossible.
last.
It's
Yeah.
impossible to
Yes,
have
yeah.
no errors.
Yeah.
Does that put pressure on you for the next decision, or does it have you learned from that?
Learning is what I will say. It's work in progress.
Okay.
But yes, it tends to. But you learn to kind of try and put it in the back of your mind. I always say umpiring is very much like batting. A batter might have played a poor shot, might have gotten beaten, but you need to try and push that aside and try and focus for the next ball. Yeah.
Yeah, for a cricketer, this runs can change or the number of wickets can change, but for you, the one wrong decision can stay much longer, right? I think that's the nature of the...
Yes, it is.
You've touched upon it a little, Guy, but I wanted to know from you, what are some of the key personality traits that are non-negotiable? Like, you don't have it, then you can't be an umpire.
You certainly need to be calm and composed out there. It can be chaos, it can be high emotions. We know it's a sport. I've played the sport even at the level that I have played in. I used to bring in a lot of emotions. So at the domestic or international levels, a lot more of emotions, lots more at stake. There are going to be emotions, so you need to be aware of that. We can't, as umpires, cannot allow emotions to get the better of us. So that's something you need to be clear about. Your foundation has to be good, as much as can. It's not only about decisions. Any situation that happens out on the field, and there are some bizarre situations that might happen once in a 500,000 games, but you still need to know in those situations players are looking at you to know what gets done in that situation. So you need to be aware and confident. Players do not want shaky umpires. I'm pretty sure of that. So your foundations and the theory aspect of it has to be strong enough, and it definitely helps to have had good amount of rest and come so that you're focused out there.
Fabulous. Guy, let's talk about women umpiring, okay? So what has it been like to be a woman on the field? Like, we are so glamour struck. Every time we see you on the field, we're so glamour struck. So I'm sure the nation is also responding in a particular way. So how does it feel?
I would say I've never looked at gender or myself as a woman or other people around me as men or whatever. At least now we have 7 of us. Pre 2018, we didn't even have that, right, in India. And I'm sure all of us have had journeys where we've pretty much been the only woman around and stuff like that. But you take that out of the picture, though. Once you're on the cricket field, you take gender out of the picture. You're just an umpire. You have a role to play. That's all. It involves a certain level of skills where the gender doesn't matter. In terms of decision making skills, in terms of man management or people management skills and awareness of the knowledge of the game, none of which really tends to get affected by your gender.
Thinking of it that way, I can't agree more, honestly speaking. But why did it take so long then?
I have no clue. I've been trying to look for an answer to that, but I have no clue. But I presume from the kind of cultural background that we come from, in India and stuff like that, the very fact that it keeps you away from your home and family for large parts, of the year. And I think there is this funny aspect of women standing out in the sun. When I first started out, I've heard such kind of comments also from people around. क्यों आके धूप में इतनी देर खड़े हो गए and all of that stuff. But you keep that aside. I don't have a definitive answer to that, but that's what I think there is to it.
So it was a supply issue. People didn't apply to become an umpire.
Yes, that was one side of it. Certainly.
Okay. There weren't enough women applying till a point.
Yeah, even now, I'm not sure too many people are coming, but certainly there's been a beginning and it's better than before. And as I see it, it will only get better. But yes, you're right. I think women themselves did not look at it as a profession for themselves.
And you see this changing actively, Guy?
Yes. The 7 in itself is a number.
Which has grown rapidly. You were one among 3.
Yes. So 2 came in 2018, I came in 2019, and few more in the last couple of years, which also means a few more have written, but unfortunately have not been able to go through. Hopefully they will in future, or more people will come in future and stuff like that. Should definitely grow.
Okay. And I think what's happening with women cricket must also be playing an active role in the umpiring.
Yes. What the women cricketers in India and across the world have done is certainly helping. And I think the Indian women cricketers deserve a lot of credit as well. I think last 8-9 years that I've seen them playing, I think it was the 2017 World Cup. And then, they've managed to go through to the knockouts or finals of, prestigious ICC tournaments. That certainly develop the interest and the standard of the game that they're playing. It's not just about winning a tournament. The standards across and the standards they've started to maintain has grown as well. So a lot of credit to them and the BCCI to be giving them this career option and the infrastructure and the support. More than the umpires, I think the moment the players and the standard of the game improves, it's got 1,000 times more effect than when you see one of us on the field officiating.
I mean, there I would slightly disagree, because every time we see you on the screen, or you or Janani or any of your other umpires, it gives us immense pride.
Bias a lot, but that's fine.
But I'm sure it must be in a larger sense of the game as well. But I'll leave it at that. Guy, let's give a sneak peek of who you are outside the field.
You know quite a bit.
But I want you to talk about it.
Goofy as hell with friends around. Can laugh for anything and everything that nobody else will relate to at all. But yes, that's what I think friends bring out in anybody. I like to wind down. I like to...
How do you wind down?
Yeah.
Because 6 months of the year these days, you're literally inaccessible.
Right.
You're largely officiating one match after another.
Right.
So what's your wind down schedule?
On a daily basis, I like to look at comedy web series and stuff like that. Meditation certainly helps me. Workout. When I'm home, love to play with my dog and keep irritating her. I'm not sure she loves to have me back, but yes, I love to be back and be playing with her. Movies. Once in a while, I don't binge watch, but movies and web series, I pick one and try and see it through. And spending time with friends, bit of travel.
We should see you more, Guy. We should hang out more.
We should when we can. Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So, Guy, moving on, how was childhood? What are your memories around childhood? What's your... I think I got to know you around 16, 17.
Childhood was great fun. I think I've been lucky, and I've said this to multiple people all throughout my life. Blessed with lovely friends all throughout my life. And I think if you have good friends, you're having fun. My anchor was my grandmother. Due to circumstances, she took the role of the, active parent, and, she brought me up, and it was unbelievable for somebody of that generation. She would kind of bring herself down to our age and interact with my friends, and the way she is adapted. She was a big, huge anchor. And I would also say in the school that I studied in, PSBB, the teachers were a huge influence. Strict as hell when they needed to be. But the moment it was off school timings, they were buddies as well. And till date, I'm in touch with some of the teachers, and I still go and meet them. And it's great fun, the way they look at you, the way they talk to you. There's never a sense of, I would say, envy or jealousy. They're so proud because the students and the children, they've helped shape where they are now.
Right.
So, yes,
absolutely.
Fun. Childhood was fun.
I think one thing that stands out to me was you were always fearless. Yes, fun. if I think of Guy at that time, there was fun, there was a lot of laughter, there was all of that, but there was always fearlessness. You would never shy away from doing anything. You would never shy away from going and talking to somebody. Where does that come from? I think that fearlessness has kind of emerged in everything you've chosen to do in life, I would think.
I'm told a lot of my fearlessness comes from my grandmother, because she was this very, very brave woman. Always, she was not just for our family, for our extended families as well. I remember whenever anybody, even in the extended family, would get hospitalized, especially a man, the wife will be extremely scared to spend out the night in the hospital. I don't know why that was. Invariably, they would come and ask my grandmother, and she would not think twice before saying yes, to go and help out and stuff like that. So I'm told it comes from her. I don't know. Probably.
Yeah, because all of you were so inspiring for me at that point of time because of all of this. Because I think this cohort taught me ambition, this cohort taught me fearlessness, and this cohort taught me how to have fun. So these were the three elements that I picked up from Eti in those days.
Yeah, I think it was the group energy as well that we all had.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, it was that vibe. So, Guy, when you were playing so much cricket, not only cricket, I think you were in multiple sports. NCC also to some extent?
Not NCC, but yeah, sport across.
Sport
yeah,
across. Quite a few sports that you used to play. Why did you choose to do an MBA at that point? I least expected it from you, honestly.
I think you're saying I was least capable of doing that.
No, it was expectation.
But, okay, so let me say this. So, one of the educational aspirations was, as a commerce grad, there were only two options at that time that we normally used to look at, either a CA or an MBA. CA was certainly not for me because it was a lot of hard work and a lot of studying. So the default became, management, and I was preparing for that. Having said that, I had high ambitions of playing for the country and stuff like that. And I think I had the foundation. Whether I was good enough to go on to play on, I don't know, but I had some foundation. So in that final year of graduation, unfortunately, I don't know, or fortunately, however we see it, the state selections got postponed. I knew I had a very good chance of getting picked in the state team, but nothing was certain. And when it got postponed, and when I got admissions into what was then one of the top 10 institutes in the country, like I said, coming from the middle class background that I had, and it was very difficult to say no. I had to look at bringing in some kind of income. As much as my father was very supportive in his intent, we did have financial constraints, so I had to look at that as well. And yes,
so
they took the first break.
Did you play cricket in the morning, go ride the cat and crack it, or did you put in any kind of effort towards
or any of the entrance exams? But yes, cricket was almost an everyday affair, and I loved it.
So post MBA, what did you do, Guy? You took up a job. I know what you did, but for the audience.
Yes. So yeah, through campus I got into this company called TVS Motor Company, an automobile company. As I understood later, I was picked to be a part of this brand called Scooty. But a couple of months into TVS, I was very, very interested in motorcycles. So I just walked up to the vice president marketing and I said, I'm interested in motorcycles. Is it that you will not put me on motorcycles and have me only for Scooty? So he was very intrigued by my question.
And he was such a nice man, and he was lost, but he was very open to the idea, and he said, he just had this
very sweet smile, RCM as we used to call him. And he said, if you're interested in motorcycles, so yeah, let's put you on motorcycles. And a few months down the line, I found myself to be handling the second largest selling motorcycle brand in the country, TVS Victor. I was lucky again. I would say right place and right time also. Then moved on to
Sachin as an ambassador at that point?
Yes, he was. Yes.
Was that a pull?
No, he came in later.
So yes,
okay. you can't say Sachin was the reason I got there. Okay. But yes, so it was a privilege and honor, of course, to have interacted with Sachin. And then I moved into Rajasthan on a sales stint as well. That taught me a lot. Moved to Delhi. I was with a bank. but the role was not that interesting
Oh,
at
I
all.
didn't know about the bank. Which bank were you in?
I was with ICC Bank. The role that I was handling was not necessarily too interesting or too
What
challenging,
were
I
you?
would
Which
say.
part of the bank were you?
I was with the credit cards division. I was handling,
Okay.
I was handling East and the North Zone. But I think they'd come up with a new role and still defining it.
Hmm.
So it was not that interesting, as at least not for me. So a few months into it, I was really thinking this is not for me, and that's what pushed me into entrepreneurship.
Hmm. So yeah, you also started something way ahead of its time, I would think, right? With Ocean Bed, was there a precursor, or was there anybody doing that actively in that time?
There were a few players, but none of whom I knew. So when I was looking at options which I could do on my own, I looked at options where it was not capital intensive. I didn't have to invest too much money. So, and hence came corporate gifting and birth of Ocean Bay.
Hmm. So you ran it for about 7 years, 8 years?
Yeah, active I would say 7 years. Then it was just kept afloat for another 3 years or so. 7 years was active.
And all through you were based out of Delhi.
Delhi,
You're
yes. Yeah.
based out of
Yes.
Gurgaon.
Yeah.
And cricket was happening on the side.
So when I had started Ocean Bed is when I went back to cricket. I spoke to somebody in the board then who actively discouraged me from coming back to cricket because I had gone into a corporate life and taken loans and stuff like that. And cricket still did not have many women's cricket, but I disregarded the advice and I used to go about 40 kilometers or so away and go and practice thrice a week or so and come back. A couple of years later, I injured myself.
Oh.
And then I didn't really realize what the injury was all about. So I had to give it a bit of a break, but then Ocean Bed continued.
Oh, okay. So, Guy, from Ocean Bed, you mentioned your work at the NGO. How did DATRI happen?
DATRI again happened by chance because a common friend introduced me to the CEO, Raghu, whom I mentioned about earlier. I think some of us always have this thing inside us that somewhere we want to be grounded, have some role in contributing something to the society, to the people who are not as fortunate as us. So that's where I think NGOs play a huge part. And when this common friend introduced me to Raghu, and when Raghu said there was something based in Delhi that I could probably do and contribute, I jumped at it.
So you were searching and seeking something in this whole phase, right? In this 15-year period?
I was. In fact, I had spoken to, there was this, tigers. I love animals, and tigers, one of my favorite animals, I would say.
Yeah.
So, me and my family were actively involved in supporting tigers, and there was this Save the Tiger, platform that used to go on and stuff like that. So I'd called one of the NGOs and asked, is there some way, whether it could be tiger census or whatever that I could be involved with. There were some logistical issues that he was talking about, so I could not. So yes, there was something that I was searching for, but animals was the area that I was searching for.
Yeah,
but it's fine
imagine.
Yes, and if that did not necessarily translate, if I could, make myself useful somewhere else, I said, why not?
Even professionally, I think, from, post MBA, whether it is TVS, whether it's the multiple entrepreneurship stints that you were doing, like the small ones, the big one, all of it, there's something that you were in pursuit of. And, there were multiple things. There was cricket, there was injury, there was a lot of back and forth. Finally, how did it all culminate into this?
Like you said, I probably never really knew what I was in search of, but you're right, probably I was. As I look back, I think I never really wanted to go down the well laid out path. I think that's what I think I did. So I think I wanted to do something different, something hatke, I think. And when there was a chance to do something in umpiring finally, I think that's where I really found my space.
So it took you about 10 years to find your calling?
Quite a while. Yes, it
But it evolved.
It evolved, and I was enjoying the journey all the way through, but never really felt that was the thing for me. I think umpiring settled that one.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why I picked it up is that there are many times we're not sure what we want to do, and there's that constant search that we keep going, and then that finally that, what is meant for us kind of
Yes.
happens.
Yeah. In my case, a little subconscious, I would say.
And why do you call it subconscious?
Because I never really told myself, I don't want to do this, I want to do this only.
Right,
But I was in search of something, like you said.
right. So, Guy, let's come back to cricket. Okay.
Yes.
And Guy is one of the first 3 umpires, right, in BCCI, women umpires. How was the journey when you started? Was it smooth?
BCCI was fairly smooth, was not so much of an issue. When I started out umpiring in DDCA, it was an interesting incident. I was initially given women trial games, which I did. Then for a long time,
What is a woman trial game?
Matches for selection into the state team. So which I did. Then for a long time after that, few months after that, I didn't hear from the DDCA, but I was doing a lot of other school games and stuff like that. So that was just right at the beginning. So somebody told me to go and check with the DDCA why they are not giving me their league games or the club games, the inter-club. That's how the associations, all the associations have clubs, and the clubs play against each other. Basically, men. The clubs are all invariably men's clubs.
I would think so.
Right?
Yeah.
So when I went to the DDCA and asked, I would also like to do a match, I was told, no, we are not sure you'll be able to handle it. And yes, sometimes there'll be different kind of language and, some bit of abuses that get, traded between the teams and all. And sometimes at umpires as well.
Wow.
So we don't think you will be able to handle that. So, and hence we're not giving you. So I had to kind of tell them, rather ask them this question, what makes you believe that I am not capable of handling it? So having especially come out of ocean bed where I have had, dealers in the smallest of places, vendors whom I had dealt with, and, faced a lot of challenges with. My question to them was, if I can go and handle vendors from all those kind of places, what makes you think I can't handle players? So that kind of made them question themselves, and to their credit, that same week they gave me a match. I told them, if need be, if you need to be convinced, that's fine, I understand, because this is a very, very beginning. Nobody has ever seen in the entire North probably a woman coming and umpiring a men's game. Give me the low tier match if you want, and you see me perform. Give me a few matches. To their credit, they gave me immediately. So I have to give them a lot of credit for that. I don't know how many people would have been open to taking such feedback immediately and responding well. I think credit to the people there at the DDCA, they did that.
So I think women in cricket, it's now growing rapidly in the country. So just give me a bird's eye view of what you are seeing.
Rapid growth and following, which is fantastic for the game, fantastic for women cricketers, fantastic for aspiring women cricketers as well. Not only that, I think there's a huge ecosystem built around every sport. So the moment one sport comes up and there is commercial value in it as well, there's a huge ecosystem of coaches and trainers and support staff and, so on and so forth, which gets now. So there's a career option being built for everybody out there. Again, a lot of credit for both the BCCI and the women cricketers, the way they played. As BCCI kept giving them more logistical support, financial support, infrastructure support, the girls were making use of it and taking 2 steps ahead. And then BCCI came in and said, they've gone 2 steps ahead, we need to support them more. And I think it kept going. And it is where it is today. And I think WPL already is one of the biggest leagues among women's sport around the world, which is fantastic.
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. And even when we are, encouraging it and seeing a lot more of it, stadiums are not yet 100% full, are they?
Not all the time, but I think this is again work in progress and growth and progression that we are seeing. I don't think we are going to see a black or white, immediately. But certainly, some of the matches that you see, some of the matches, there are large crowds coming in. Some of the I've done matches in full stadium matches as well. I can give you an example of one India Australia T20 that we played out in DY Patil. I think there were about 45,000 odd people. There were people
I
being
think
sent
I was
back.
there
The
on that
game
day.
match went on. It was super over, and India happened to win it.
Mm.
But that's something huge.
Mm.
Again, some of the WPL knockout games and stuff like that we've seen packed stadiums. So it's
building.
definitely
It's building.
definitely building. Yes.
And it's a last decade phenomenon that these girls have shaped themselves from a fitness standpoint, from an aspiration standpoint, from
Yes.
breaking the glass ceiling completely.
Yes. See, it's very clearly when the standard of the game, they want to see Indians perform better and the competitiveness of both the teams playing to be better. As that starts getting better, so the crowds are going to come in. And that is where I think the cricketers and the board deserves a lot of credit.
So when you say BCCI did a couple of things, then the players matched up. What did BCCI do at that point?
See, one is in terms of financial rewards.
Yeah.
That you start giving the players, that they can actually start looking
There
at
was
it as a
pay
career
parity,
option.
right? BCCI said
Yes,
there was pay
you're
parity
absolutely
for
right. Yes, a couple
for
of
the
years
women.
back,
Yes.
BCCI and Mr. Jaisha announced that what the women cricketers get paid for an international match will be on par with what the men international cricketers, which is fantastic.
That is amazing.
So
Yeah.
as you start doing that, it trickles down at the lower levels as well. And then support facilities. See, this came about recently, but in the early days, it was also about upping the standard of the game, and for that, your fitness played a big part.
Correct.
So access to gyms and training equipment and trainers, dietitians and physiotherapists was also a big part. So those were the foundations, and then it's gone on to this. So yes, that's where the board has played a big role.
And I remember you mentioning that when you wanted to form a, college team or a university team, there weren't enough women. You couldn't form a team, or was it at school?
I'm surprised you remember that story. It's way back in school, actually. So, so we had cricket camps, summer camps, and stuff like that. So there were few of us girls who were very, very interested in cricket. So we went and asked the school principal, "Can you please arrange a camp for us as well, women, girls?" So she said, "I'm happy to help you, but you put together 10, 15 girls at least. Then we can look at it." Unfortunately, we weren't able to gather that. It was a very academically oriented school. We have produced good cricketers as well, but very academic oriented. So, and women in those days were not. It was still seen as a very male.
Yeah, the reason why I brought this up is that that must have changed. These people will have at least 20, 30 people in their own cities playing the game.
Oh yes.
Actively.
Oh yes.
And training for it to get selected into the national teams.
Oh yes. Any of the state trial matches or camps that are now held, I mean, you can't finish the trial in one day. There are,
really?
Yes. That's a big growth. I know it's far away and we are not comparing or competing with men's cricket here. We are only comparing with where it was and where it is now.
Right. Yeah. Right. So, Guy, obviously you get to interact with all of these players, on the field, off the field.
To a certain extent, yes.
To a certain extent, okay. So what is, some of the key interactions that you can remember? Anything that you remember, you want to recall?
Yes, few I would say. One was with MS Dhoni.
Wow.
Yes. I think he had quit playing Test cricket by then, so he was playing this leading domestic one-day tournament called Vijay Hazare, and this was before my BCCI days. I was I was a liaison or just helping out as a backup umpire, so I had to go and inform him something that the match referee had asked me to go and tell him. So I just happened to ask him a question. So what set him apart? Clearly the calm temperament or whatever that he brought in, what set him apart in his own understanding. He said it was very important for somebody playing the game to have awareness of the game. There are different formats, different skill sets come in, and not only hardcore technical sets, your mindset as well, awareness of what the opposition might be doing, what's happening within your team. There could be shoulders dropping, energy dropping, what the opposition is trying to do in that phase of the game. So it's very important to have match awareness, is what he said. And I can very well relate it to my umpiring as well. So a lot of my learnings, I try and observe and adapt it from sport or sports people. So I feel it's very adaptable for umpiring as well. So just a 2-minute interaction, but huge learning I came back with.
I can imagine.
Yes. So that was one thing I would say is memorable for me.
So, even in a corporate setup, even in teams, right? When each of us come with our own cultural backgrounds, the state from which we have grown up in, all of that kind of impacts the person we are.
Right.
And we see a lot of these dynamics play out on the field. Like, I don't know if I'm allowed to mention, but a player from Delhi has a very different vibe from a player from Bombay versus a player from the South. So how do you see, when you speak about being aware or on the field, how do you see these dynamics play out live?
You're very right. There are personality traits, individual personality traits, team personality traits. There is a history, sometimes some, teams display. So where you can, you interact with other umpires who have done matches with those players or with those teams. And again, related to what MS said, that brings in a bit of match awareness. You are aware, you don't need to necessarily step in, but if need be, you're at least ready.
So you know how to react based on who's coming or who's appealing.
Yeah, you're at least prepared.
You're prepared.
It's not 100%. Nothing is 100%, but you're playing out on probability.
Nice. I think a lot has also changed in umpiring, right? With your cameras and with the level of scrutiny that today happens for every decision.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about that, Guy?
Why not? I certainly say technology has added a lot to the game. If anything can help in reducing the errors, why not? But we've also seen that technology is not foolproof. You always mix it up with a human intervention and somebody dealing with it. So, which is good. What has also helped is the moment technology comes into the picture, probably a little more of consistency irrespective. So, the acceptance levels becomes much better. In terms of the scrutiny, what I've definitely learned is umpiring is not for the faint-hearted. Yeah, there is a lot of scrutiny and
in this environment.
Yes, it is a thankless job. You're trying to be you want to be neutral, but sometimes you don't have control. You're making an error because you're making a mistake. You don't know when exactly and against which player, against which team you're going to make that mistake. You don't know that. If you knew, you could have controlled it better. So, yes. So, you need to keep yourself a little thick-skinned.
Correct. And do you go back and ever watch your matches?
Sometimes. So, if you want learnings, you're going at your errors. If you want positive reinforcements, you're watching your good decisions. Sometimes, but not always.
Do you watch your favorite umpire matches again and again?
Not always, but always. On and off. I don't watch too much of cricket, but I still like to watch some bit of cricket, especially if it's test. You also you can learn from other umpires. So do a bit of watching. So, yes.
So, all this is almost like, they say that sports, when a country prospers in sports, it shows a certain degree of development for that country. Like, the number of medals that a China gets and a US gets, vis-a-vis the number of medals we used to get to where we are today. So, we are rapidly evolving from a sports infrastructure, from a sports prioritization standpoint. So, from the inner circle, how do you see it?
I will know more about cricket than other sport. In other sport, I'm also as much of a fan as anyone else is. Cricket definitely has grown leaps and bounds. From the 90s to the early 2000s, for example, the IPL has helped fitness levels and fielding levels. Look at where we are. those days we could never be counted among the top fielding teams.
Absolutely.
Today we are no less than anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the same is translating to women's cricket as well.
And
We are
there is
evolving
state level, there is so much state level activity for an IPL selection, right?
Yes.
Every state has an IPL version.
Yes, mini version. Almost every association is introduced to Premier League as well,
Premier League.
and I think that helps. So if you are looking to develop, the feeder comes from this, right, from the local Premier Leagues and the association level. A lot of IPL players, and even as recent in the 25 IPL, a lot of IPL players have been unearthed from the Premier Leagues of the associations that have been played. So yes.
So as a layman consuming Bollywood and watching all of the selection criteria and all of that, how do you think this whole thing plays out today with so much talent being identified, talent being nurtured? Is it more democratized? The selection procedure?
It is democratized, but it's not easy. The more players, the more it has grown. It becomes very, very difficult. I can understand. I don't even know anything about selection, but looking at the huge logistics and the amount of cricket being played, you can imagine the headache of the selectors. And I was recently talking to somebody who was a selector in the recent past, Delhi. He was also playing a match, and then he was also talking about how thankless a profession it is, and you can very well imagine.
And so much pressure on that as
yes,
well.
Absolutely. And it's not easy. Huge numbers playing. There could be minute differences. Just as they say in Hindi, 19-20 ka farak hai. You're picking one player over the other.
It could be that day.
Yes.
It's selection day performance also.
Could be, but I think it's overall a build-up to it as well. Is what I understand, but I don't know that profession. But it can't be easy at all. Watching from outside, it gives me headaches. I don't know how they go through it.
How is domestic cricket today in Guy? That level must have also gone up significantly.
Very, very, very much. Domestic cricket always was the pipeline supplying to the national level. You've seen, but one of the examples I would give is the Northeast. Ever since Northeast has come into the BCCI fold in the recent past, and in the last few years, I still understand that they are not still on par with the rest of the country, but what we need to look at is progress. Right? Where they are today compared to where they are even 7-8 years back. I think it's a question of time if they are able to get more and more people interested. And Northeast, they've also been because of the terrain and all of that, infrastructure is also, building has not been easy.
They were very good at hockey, football, all
still
of
are.
that. Still are. I mean, they continue to be.
Right.
So cricket, they are.
Yes, just about coming in, but they've taken huge strides.
This again is very interesting because we have a champion from one state, then that state infrastructure builds for that sport. Like today, Telangana is like a huge hub for badminton, I would think.
It is.
So, and West Bengal for football. So things like that.
Orissa for hockey.
Yes. So things like that play out. But the national madness for cricket remains.
It remains. You feel bad for other sports and sports people, but the good thing is, I think even that is growing. You can't necessarily compare it with cricket, but as I was talking to somebody who had started one of the leagues of one other sport, I mean, everything cannot and will not be in IPL. So comparing it with IPL cannot happen. IPL has become one of the largest in the world. And across sport.
Yeah.
So take that comparison out of the picture, but is it giving a career path, career option to other people at a much lower scale? It still is. Yes.
What are some of the noteworthy women test cricket matches that happened today?
I have been lucky to have been a part of one. It did India, South Africa last year. India, Australia and England toured India prior to that. There was Ashes played Australia and England earlier this year. Some more of test cricket, I might be missing out on one or two. And then India had toured Australia and England prior to them coming over and did remarkably well. Women's test cricket is still to establish itself and it's still taking its initial steps there. Though it's been played for long, not with as much frequency, not in as many numbers. So, and hence I say initial steps.
And is there adequate visibility for this?
Visibility wise, I think there's nothing lacking at all.
Okay.
I mean, what can you do to visibility? You can try and give some promotion and ensure that it's televised. That is being done.
Understood.
Yes.
So Guy, now coming to, your core fitness, I've seen you evolve, in this entire period as far as your fitness is concerned. So what has gone into building yourself to be what you are today?
Okay, some of us are not as fortunate. I keep joking around that I smell food and I, tend to put on weight. But yes, I'm sure that's the case with a lot of people who work on workout. I try to be slightly disciplined. I'm not as disciplined as some of you are, but both in terms of intake of food and in terms of workout, in terms of what and when and how much you eat. Yes, try to keep a little bit of a balance. I'm a foodie. My eyes light up when I see food. But yes,
we're
try
all
to control.
foodies.
Yes.
I think we all enjoy our food. How much of your day is given to fitness?
When I'm at home, if I put both mental and physical fitness together, probably a couple of hours.
What do you do for the mental fitness? What do you do for the physical fitness?
So I like to start off my day with some listening to some spiritual talks, and then go into meditation, and then stretches, and then my active workout.
Okay. And cardio or strength, or you have a blend of both?
I do blend of both and yoga. Yes.
Okay. And so this kind of a rigor, you keep it going right through the year.
Yeah, when you're not traveling, it becomes easier. When you're not doing matches, on the days we do matches, I've heard a lot of people coming in and saying, "Oh, you guys are very active. You're fit. You're standing there whole day." And I say, yes, we are standing there whole day. The muscles get tired, but the muscles don't get their workout. So on match days, we are not getting workout. Yes, it's definitely better than sitting there the entire day and having a sedentary lifestyle, but it's not getting their workout. They're getting tired. So it's important. So on match days and travel days, it becomes a little difficult, but to the extent possible on other days.
Okay. So you are a vegetarian guy?
Yes, I am.
What's your protein source?
Yeah, we have our limitations. Sometimes I wonder if I should start taking egg whites or something, but mine primarily revolves around soya, paneer, sprouts, and stuff like that. Yes.
Any supplements?
Yes, you do need, your vitamins and minerals and calciums and vitamin Ds and omega 3s and stuff like that. You try and see what works. And everybody, again, belief system is different. Everybody's body responds differently. So yes, take some supplements as well.
So these are all generally prescribed. So you have a coach, you have a physician, you have.
So I used to train with a trainer at some point in time. I picked up a lot. So it really helped those couple of years working with her in terms of both understanding the mix of workouts that you need and in terms of what to take in and what not and stuff like that. In terms of what kind of postures you need to hold when you're working out, because it's so easy to injure yourself in the process of working out, which I tend to do quite often. I picked up quite a bit. Right now, I don't have a trainer or dietitian, but I try and read up and go accordingly.
So, Guy, I like we've discussed 2-3 times even in the podcast that our journeys evolved. We have as people, evolved over a period of time. So, and you say that you spend a lot of time on spiritual listening, at least in the mornings, etc. So, what has that shift been for you?
I always thought I was spiritually inclined, not deep at the surface level, I would say, because as I've gone through, and as all of us do, ups and downs in our life, at the times we've got hit and we've been down, you try to search for reasons, and sometimes, spirituality tries and gives you answers that you're looking for or paths you're looking for to get out of them. So that's really helped me. I've always been drawn towards meditation and stuff like that, but never took to it. Always used as an excuse, oh, mere paas time nahi hai, all of that. But around 2018, I was going through a lot of issues, personal or professional, you could say. And I think I needed to bring something to calm me down. And I said, enough is enough. I've spoken and thought about meditation for long enough now. Now, come to it. And I started, like I said, I'm not into heavy duty hours and hours of meditation, but just a bit of it. every day to start it off, and it really helps me. Again, spiritual listening is also not heavy duty, mild, but every now and then. And I think whatever spiritual talks I listen to, it's not something any of us don't know about, but sometimes need a reminder of every now and then, and you are going off track on that. So that really helps me stay grounded.
Grounded and
Yes.
yeah, and I think it becomes non-negotiable after a point of time. I think.
Yes. I have a lot of friends who unfortunately have had friends and family mental health issues. Of course, a lot of other things have helped as well, but spirituality has had its own role. Some people don't like to call it spirituality or meditation. I know of people who don't like to call it meditation, they like to call it deep breathing. I say call it whatever, but yes,
You need a calming
it
influence.
helps.
It helps. And gratitude, maybe.
Oh, yes. I mean, good that you mentioned that point. Whatever I might say, I consider myself one of the very few people who are very, very fortunate to be in a profession and doing something that I love. There are always going to be challenges. Do I have challenges? Yes, of course. Whatever. But am I fortunate? Am I lucky? Of course. I said in terms of the people that I've been blessed with in life, in terms of what I'm getting to do in terms of my profession. Yes, people around the country are crazy about cricket, but how many people are able to be actively involved in it? If you ask, half of them will want to do that. Are they
Yes.
able to do that? No.
Yes. Yes.
So yes, really fortunate, and gratitude is another grounding aspect.
Amazing. So, Guy, I've asked a lot of people on the podcast this question around ambition and contentment. Okay.
Okay.
I'll tell you where I come from, because I feel that we've all driven ourselves because there has been an ambition quotient within us, whether we acknowledge it, realize it, whatever it is, and brought ourselves to a point. And then there is this constant conflict that happens of how much more, and the gratitude and content. So, what is your view? What is your overarching view today?
Very tricky question, I would say. But yes, I would say I'm also on the same boat as you. It's a challenge at times to figure out, but one of the words which is so loaded and so meaningful is balance. We don't often manage to get there, but sometimes it gives us the direction. Ambition is what has driven us here, and ambition is what will probably drive us to achieve more, leave something to be, proud of later in life, I'm sure. But contentment is I think is very, very important. Otherwise, you can always be a very frustrated and angry soul. And yes, I am sure if you ask yourself are there areas where you are frustrated and upset about? I'm sure there are. If you ask me, and I will say the same thing. But every now and then, bring yourself back, look at all the things that you can be thankful for, look at the others who are not as fortunate enough, and that's where contentment comes in. And I think you can live through that and push yourself towards, pull yourself back, and then re-energize yourself and push yourself towards ambition after that.
Right, right. So every break working towards contentment actually pushes us a little more towards ambition.
Yes, that's what I feel, and I draw a lot of my examples of what I want to learn from sport. I look at cricket in itself. Every time a team celebrates a wicket, you don't know if the team is going to win, but there are you sometimes see huge emotions coming out when a wicket is taken. So that's the journey. So, but they still don't know if they're going to win the match. They might end up losing it.
Beautiful.
So on the spirituality front, that's what something that I want. If you keep yourself an ambition and a goal, and you wait to celebrate only when you achieve that goal, you don't know if you're going to achieve, you don't know when you're going to achieve, and you don't know if you're actually going to be happy and content when you get there. So if you can do small celebrations on your smaller life milestones, I think that's good. And I look at I draw my examples from sport.
That was very beautiful, Kai. Thanks for that. You did mention this again, but I want you to put it out in a separate section. Do you think that cricket has given you more than you had imagined it would?
Oh, yes. If I did not admit to it, I'll be greedy. yes, would I want to do more and achieve more? Am I capable of doing more? Definitely much, much more. But did I see myself here? In some ways, yes, and some ways, no. Yes, you can say both, but definitely given me a lot to be thankful for. And I hope that I can achieve much more as well. And I, strive and push myself towards that. That's the ambition with playing out.
Right. So now before we end the podcast, Guy, we'll do a fun rapid fire. Okay, we did a
Okay.
cricketing rapid fire in the beginning. Now it's going to be an all fun rapid fire.
Okay.
Your favorite movie?
Favorite movie? I'll pick one in each language if I'm allowed to.
Please.
Sound of Music,
Oh,
Roja in Tamil, and Dil Chahta hai in Hindi.
we are friends for a reason.
Okay.
Favorite food?
Chad.
Yeah. Friends for a reason. Favorite book?
Book. Okay. One thing that I loved reading, I saw in your library as well. Steve Jobs' biography. And one other book that I found very inspiring was Gandhi Before India by Ramchandra Gupta.
Yeah, two great books. Completely agree. Favorite holiday?
Holiday. I think the one we did as college friends to Thailand.
I think that was a very, very special memory.
Yes.
Co-memory.
Fun, out and out fun.
Yeah. Your life philosophy in a line?
Life philosophy in a line. I have a word for it that I turn to every now and then. I don't necessarily stick to it, half as much as I would like to. But the word that I would love to turn to very often is balance. I move out of it very often and I try and get myself back to it. But if I can borrow a line again from your library, I saw something here.
Live
well,
laugh
yes.
often, and love much.
Yes, and I loved it when I saw it. If we can try and incorporate it every now and then in our lives, that will be great.
Absolutely. That's the hope with
Yes,
which it's here. That's a reminder.
Yes, reminder.
So one thing I can't let you go with is choose between A.R. Rahman or Ilayaraja sir.
Oh my God. Both.
No, Guy, you have to make a choice today.
I think Ilayaraja defined the childhood days, so very tough pick. But if I were to go with one, but it will be Ilayaraja.
Favorite song in that era?
Ilayaraja, there are numerous ones, but I'll go with Putam Pudu Kalai.
Okay. Morning person, night person?
Used to be a morning person. I think, unfortunately, I've moved towards a night person now. I can blame it on my profession as well because I keep doing matches at different timings. Some of the T20 matches finish up and I come back to the room post midnight. But I'd love to go back to the being
That's
a morning
the hope
person
we
because
all carry,
we all
actually.
carry. The energy of the morning is something that you
I
can't
know.
get any other part of the day, I feel.
I know. We should try and cash in on it.
Yes.
Strength or cardio?
I actually mix up both, but I will
What do you
pick
enjoy? Strength or cardio?
strength.
Okay, with that we come to the end of this conversation, Guy. And so my question is, what will you tell the 18-year-old guy vice captaining the university team?
I'll tell her, don't be stupid. Just do your warm-ups properly before you go into play. I know you love playing, but without your warm-up, you will mess up yourself, which is exactly what I did later on when my shoulder injury happened. That's exactly what I tell her.
But I think it's crafted a beautiful journey for you and you've done incredibly well for yourself. We're all collectively so proud of you, Guy. And thank you so much for being part of this
Thanks, Liz.
conversation.
Thanks for this chat. Had fun here as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And that was Gayathri Venugopalan on the We Women project. It is a special episode, the Friendships Day episode, and I take honor and privilege to have seen her journey up close. From coming back from multiple setbacks, including an injury and an aspiration of being a player cut short, she has navigated for herself a beautiful journey into umpiring and broken the glass ceiling at all levels. It shows us what the power of determination, grit, and perseverance can really take us in life. If you enjoyed watching this content, Please like, share and subscribe to our channel, The We Women Project. We will be back soon with another guest, another episode only for you. Thank you.